Welcome everyone to 7 Minutes or Less, talking about the shows you love and want to get into. Today we will be talking about Breaking Bad, Season 5, the final season. Needless to say, if you're just tuning in now to my reviews, I would encourage you to go at least watch my Season 4 review. I'll leave a link up here for you to check it out. I recap Seasons 1 through 3, and I get into 4 a little more in depth. And here we're going to get into some major spoilers, and I'm going to talk about probably the best season I've ever seen in recent memory. So that cat and mouse game I mentioned earlier back in Season 4 ends in a shocking death of Gus Fring, and yeah, but just because he's dead and Walter White declares, "I won," doesn't mean it's over. Season 5 starts with one of my favorite episodes, Live Free or Die, where Walt, Jesse, and Mike team up to dispose of the last bit of incriminating evidence from Gus's camera that was located in the super lab. It's actually one of the shortest episodes between all of the episodes, and it's by far the most entertaining for me. After that, we are introduced to a few new characters. In light of Gus's death, many people who had ties to him are now under the DEA's crosshairs. Lydia, an executive at Madrigal, who had been supplying Gus's chemicals, believes to all who have been involved will expose her and Mike. At the same time, Walt and Jesse want to return to business for themselves and rebuild their lives. When they turn to Mike as a key component to the business success, at first he refuses, until he realizes the DEA has frozen his funds to keep the 9 of his guys that Lydia is worried about quiet. Mike turns around and agrees to help out, thus Walter's empire is built up once again, but this time in his own eyes. The first half is easily the best ascending of an empire and one man's hubris to make it to the top, no matter what the cost. That cost ends up tragically ending the lives of certain individuals as Walter and Jesse, along with Mike, realize maybe they're pushing too far, making ends meet, covering up mistakes, obtaining things they need, and then getting the wrong people involved are just exactly what this show explores. This leads me to talk about Todd, probably a fan favorite of most Breaking Bad fans. Todd is probably one of the most soul-crushing characters I have ever witnessed. He goes from well-spoken, polite, kind, respectful, to despicably violent, without a moment's notice or warning, and care to his actions. Well, he cares about what he did, but there's little remorse for what he did, which makes him an extremely dangerous individual. You just never know where he's coming from. So, of course, Walter deals with him when Jesse gets what he needs and then wants out. So, thusly, Todd becomes a part of the crew. Now, I can gush about the first half all I want, but it's literally nothing compared to the second half. And the second half is quite the depiction of the decline of an empire and all that surrounds it. Now, I have done the very best I can to avoid enough crucial spoilers, especially for the first half, just to keep you intrigued enough, like, hey, you want to go see it? It's great, go see it, but now I'm going to get into the second half, and I have no choice. So if you don't want to know anymore, cut me off and just go catch up to this point and watch all that is incredible for Season 5. Mike is on the run after the DEA nabs his lawyer, which puts the business in jeopardy. And the lawyer himself is actually laundering the money in safety deposit box for his family and also the other families of those 9 guys that are trying to be, well-funded, but also keeping quiet. When Walter needs the names of the incarcerated men, Mike refuses, resulting in Walter killing him. Afterwards, Walter gets the names from Lydia and partners with her, sending the business overseas. The production runs profitably, and Mike's men are taken care of through Todd's uncle, who has connections in various prisons. Things are wrapped up and looking well with the world. Until, by the end of part 1, Hank finds out through pure coincidental circumstance that Walter is Heisenberg. Gale gets the last laugh and payback for writing in Walt Whitman's book. The second half is literally a masterpiece. depicting a tragedy in epic proportions. It's another cat and mouse game for sure, but this time it is between family, and dear God, are these moments not played around with. Between the characters finding out that Walt is a drug dealer meth maker to the chess game Hank and Walt are playing, by the time we get to the penultimate episode, Rabid Dog, of the series, we realize a lot of this is going to explode in our faces, but we only see one side. That side being Hank getting his ace in the hole, Jesse, who turned against Walter. Tuhajili, which I'm sure I mispronounced, marks as the series' biggest turning point. Hank actually arrests Walter, but not before this glorious moment is ruined by the white supremacists from Todd's family coming to put their 2 cents in. The episode ends in a firefight, leaving every character on the chopping block. By the time it ended, which ends abruptly, I burst into tears. I wasn't expecting to do that at all. It wasn't until I reached Ozymandias, the next episode, I realized why. The title of the episode itself, aforementioned, is a poem by Percy Bysshe Shelley, and it's about the collapse of an empire that was once great. Simply put, Walter White is now failing. He's falling and he's losing everything, and good people, despite their flaws, are going down with him. On top of a situation gone bad to worse, it just adds further insult to injury that Walter's once good intentions have cost the lives of many. And because you give a shit about these characters, it adds that much more. Ozymandias has what I see as a series of chemical reactions waiting to mix together for the ultimate explosion. In the beginning, just before Hank is killed, is one. When Skylar and Walter get into a fight, little Holly saying mama, and the Emmy award-worthy phone call Walter gives to clear Skylar's name. All explosions in different ways, but all mixing to specific outcomes. Game-changing outcomes. At the end of all of this, Walter is now a wanted man, and under the mercy of the last resource he has left from Saul Goodman, Ed, the disappearer who can help anyone start a new life. Despite Walter's advances to keep fighting back, the chemical reactions are over. There are none, except for what lays in its wake. Felina is such a simple episode. I applaud it for being so captivating despite not a whole lot going on. It plays so straightforward, but on a technical aspect, it's brilliantly crafted. As Walter's cancer is back, which was mentioned in the beginning of the second part of this season, he's pretty much kind of accepting his fate, but he also is looking to right the wrongs he can by getting Jesse back and killing Todd and his uncle for double-crossing him. It's easily the simplest, if not best, finale in recent years. It could have quite possibly gone in an entirely different direction and could have possibly sucked in regards to all that it built up and horribly executed in the end. Instead, we have a beginning, middle, and end to a well-crafted TV show about Walter White, the rise and fall of his empire. Guys and gals, I know I've taken up enough of your time already, and if you made it this far, I hope that you've enjoyed this review. This was a show for the ages. It's highly acclaimed, not just by me, but many, many others. It's well crafted, well executed. Everything was taken into account in terms of the story, the characters, and their own arcs. For that, I'm going to give Breaking Bad Season 5 in its entirety an A+. I have been aware that there are some that never made it to this point. If by chance you watched this review and you're still interested despite the spoilers, this show will still probably surprise you considering there are plenty of other things I have never mentioned. With that said, I hope you do pick this up, reintroduce yourself, or rewatch it again. It's truly amazing. Alright guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed my review of Breaking Bad. I got El Camino coming up shortly, and with that said, turn on those notifications so you don't miss anything. I do movie and TV show reviews, and with all that said, have a fantastic and wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.